When I say, time is speeding up, people just look at me and say, it's just because you are getting older. I don't think so. There's evidence that time may in fact be speeding up. Firstly, one must understand that time is relative. Traditionally, we think of time as being a constant in the universe, but it's not. Einstein proved that. His calculations showed that the closer an object comes to the speed of light, the slower time passes. Scientists have done experiments that prove Einstein's theory to be correct. So, if Einstein's theory is correct, then the opposite must be true. If our speed decreases, time will speed up. Researcher Greg Braden says that is exactly what is happening. The rotation of the Earth is slowing down, and time is speeding up. Evidence for his assertions comes from the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is, in layman's terms, the heartbeat of the Earth. In scientific terms, it is the extremely low frequency ELF of the Earth's magnetic field. In the 1950s, when the Schumann resonance was discovered, it was recorded to be an average of 7.8 Hz. Now, according to Swedish and Russian researchers, says Braden, it is an average of 12 Hz. That means that the normal 24-hour day feels like a 16-hour day. In essence, we've lost 1/3 of our normal daytime. Interestingly, the Bible predicted this would happen. It reads, "And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and they shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise." Revelations 8:12. However, if time is speeding up, how come the clocks aren't speeding up? Why don't the clocks on Earth indicate a 16-hour day? That's a great question. I have the same question, and I don't have a scientific answer for you. My best guess would be that the speed of the electrical pulses on Earth is somehow tied to the speed of the rotation of the Earth. This would explain why a 2-hour movie still takes 2 hours to play by our clocks. But, how can the speed of the rotation of the Earth affect anything on Earth other than time? Well, we know for a fact that the Earth's magnetic field has been weakening at a parabolic rate. And since magnetism and electricity are so closely related, wouldn't this have an effect on the electricity of the planet? Furthermore, Mr. Braden says that the Earth's rotation will eventually stop with respect to the Sun, and start rotating the opposite direction. Scientists have known for a long time that there have been reversals in our Earth's magnetic field once about every 10 to 12,000 years, but they don't know why or how. Greg Braden provides us with an answer. Our Earth is a gigantic magnet. In elementary physics, we learn that if you change the direction of the rotation of the electromagnetic, we reverse the direction of the magnetic field. That, as it may be, I wonder how is it possible that so many people are oblivious to the acceleration of time. If you've ever seen the movie, The Cube, you might get the picture. In one room of the cube, time was slower, and in another room of the cube, time was faster. However, to the perceivers inside each room, time seemed constant. They were completely unaware of the change in the speed of time, except when the characters looked into another room, from without. That's why many people today think that I'm crazy to suggest that time is speeding up, because it is nearly imperceptible. However, I use benchmarks to measure time. Like when I was a child in the car looking out the window. As my father accelerated very slowly, I could not feel the acceleration, but I saw the fence posts going by faster and faster. The fence posts were my benchmarks. The benchmarks that I use today to perceive the acceleration of time are as follows. I cannot teach the same amount of material in one 40-minute lesson that I could 2 years ago. I cannot get the same amount of work done in an 8-hour workday as I could 2 years ago. I cannot get the same amount of tasks done in a 24-hour day as I could 2 years ago. Am I the only person who has notices these things? No. Just do a Google search for time is speeding up, and you will see 37 million web pages that deal with the issue of time speeding up. Some of the authors of the aforementioned websites have made the connection between Greg Braden's work and Terence McKenna's work entitled Time Wave Zero. Mr. McKenna's work is fascinating, In a nutshell, he took the 64 ideograms from the I Ching, and mapped them in a linear fashion onto a two-dimensional. He got a time wave. When he placed the time wave graph over a time graph of world history, he noticed some amazing correlations. The pics of the time wave graph matched significant events in world history. While that is interesting in and of itself, the most interesting thing is that the wave ends on December 21, 2012. At that precise point, the wave hits the zero line on the graph, and Terence McKenna interprets that as the end of time. There will be no time. We will be in a state of being where there is no time. Even more interesting is what Greg Braden says. He says that when the Schumann resonance hits 13 Hz, time will speed up to infinity. How he arrived at that conclusion is beyond me. However, some New Agers have interpreted this to mean that we, who will be living on planet Earth, when that happens will experience a shift in consciousness. The veils of secrecy will be lifted. We will then become cognizant of all the lies that we've been told by politicians, historians, and the like. Furthermore, it is told by the ancients, that the veil between this mortal realm and the spirit realm will dissolve. We will be able to freely converse with those on the other side. If what the New Agers and the ancients predict is true, I personally can't wait.